What's going on? You're listening to the You Want It, You Got It podcast. I am Russ Attitude, your host, and today I had the privilege of talking to Troy. What's going on, Troy?
Not much, man. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Now, Troy, you play in a Ritual Caster, and you also play in another band with Dom called Dread. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So, how long, and what got you into playing music?
I've been playing for right at 10 years now. This will be my 10th year playing, but my uh my dad got me into music at a very young age, showing me Sabbath albums, Pantera albums, and all that. And
Hell yeah.
one year for Christmas, I got Guitar Hero 3 for the Xbox 360, and that just spiraled me into heavier stuff.
Hell yeah. I've never played Guitar Hero.
Really?
Never. My roommate had the Guitar Hero because I know there was like what Guitar Hero and then Rock Band or something.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like which one had more parts? Like which one had like the drum set and shit?
Rock Band.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Um, but yeah, I never played that shit. But I mean, I've seen people play, but I never really played it.
yeah,
But
but yeah,
so
he,
so your dad, huh?
yeah, he got me into all the music I listened to, and then I just started branching off to the underground stuff and all the weirdo side of things.
Are you from Clarksville?
No, I'm from Huntingdon, Tennessee,
Okay. Is
which
that
is like an hour and a half west of Clarksville.
okay?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So does your dad play music at all, or does he just listen to it?
No, sir. He wanted to learn when I started learning, but arthritis in his fingers from playing football in high school kind of prevented that.
Gotcha.
Uh, but yeah, he's just mainly listened to music, and then when I started playing music, he learned how to work on guitars, basses, amplifiers, all that stuff. So
Oh, so you got your like little in-house repairman, huh?
yes, sir.
Um, so how did you hook up with Dom?
Surprisingly enough, it was through I can't remember what the Facebook group was, but I joined this group. I was just getting into like the doom metal stuff, and I wanted to find some people that shared some similar music tastes and played as well. And then I met him in that group. We talked a little bit, and then my dad, as a graduation present, bought me a power amp that Dom was selling.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like he never met me in person until right after that, but yeah,
And
that's how we met.
you guys have been connected ever since, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've known Dom for quite some time, man, since he was a wee Dom, you know. I think I first met well not I knew of him because of his mom, I guess you'd say. Um,
Yeah.
since he was probably maybe 15 or something, and I used to always tease him and be like, "Yeah, I'm your dad, man. I'm your dad, dude." And then, that's just our little running joke. But
Right.
so so playing me. So what was your first instrument of choice?
I picked up guitar first,
Hmm.
but shortly after that, the high school I went to in Brewston, Tennessee, I was in like band,
Hmm.
played trombone, tuba, all that. Our marching band had a bass guitarist on the sideline, and she had just graduated and the spot was open. So I started learning bass, and I got that part. So,
Pretty cool,
yeah.
man. But so yeah, because I've seen Ritual Caster a few different times, and of course I've seen you and perform with them. And when I see you off stage, is
Hmm.
not what I expect you on stage because you're like it's. I think we're all the same way. I think we have two different personas on stage
Yes,
because
sir.
you're a whole different person on stage than you are off stage, and you go fucking ham, dude. Um,
Well, thank you.
uh, so so Ritual Caster was originally Gravity Cosmonaut, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how long was Gravity Cosmonaut a thing before you guys switched the name up?
Um, I honestly think it was like 2016, 2017 when Gravity first came around.
Okay.
And then in 2020, right before the country shut down for COVID and everything, I went to the last Gravity Cosmonaut show before Ritual Caster was the new name.
Oh, so you weren't in Gravity Cosmonaut?
No, sir. I
Ah,
was right there in the transition.
gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Now I asked Dom today about you, and he said that you're a huge gearhead, and I'm like, God, I get all these guys on my podcast that are gearheads, and I know shit about gear. And it's
Yeah,
like
man.
I like listening to people talk about it because it intrigues me, but I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. But he also told me that you're a big bourbon guy.
Yeah, I was, and I've kind of gotten out of it now. And
Hmm.
I mean, on occasion, I'll get like a nice bottle and save it. But yeah, I was into bourbon for a while, and then I got into scotch for a while, and now I mean, Miller Lite Michelob Ultra is good for me.
I will say this: when I was drinking, I don't care how expensive the bottle was. I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't be fancy drinking. I would just fucking drink it, And I'm like,
Right,
why did I spend all this money on this bottle that I just fucking consumed overnight when I could have bought a fucking bottle of Jack and been just as good?
right.
Because I mean, there's a way to drink bourbon. There's a way to drink scotches. There's a way to
Oh
drink
yeah,
that stuff. Scotch is something I really never ever ventured into. Um, I don't
it's
know
a
the whole.
wild world, man.
Is
It
it?
really is.
I feel like I feel like most beverages, alcohol is huge. Like there's so many different bourbon companies out there, so many different like whiskey. There's so many
Yeah.
different vodkas. It's like you name it, somebody has one or
Hmm.
somebody has started one. Then everything's flavored nowadays. It's like Jesus,
Oh yeah,
man.
dude. A
You
lot
know,
of the flavored stuff has got so much sugar in it. I can't
oh
stand it.
yeah, and there's already sugar in this shit already. But
Natural sugars, and then you're just adding all that extra stuff on top of it.
hmm I remember hearing, years ago, and it's probably been said even longer than that, but how Europeans always say that America has ruined beer, because we want to flavor everything, we want to make it this, want to make it that, it's
Right.
like, and then of course nowadays anything you can think of is an alcohol version, you
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
Monster and
Excuse me. I was surprised when all that started showing up right around the time that I actually turned 21. Surprisingly.
I'm not gonna lie, it works. I'm gonna
Oh yeah.
uh, if you can drink a 0 calorie seltzer and that damn thing's at like 8%. I'm like, all right, I'll drink that. But
Right.
then you got Monster. They hit the market. With fucking
Mhm.
Monster. Which when I was drinking, I drank some of them. I used to drink those playing shows all the time, and you get double the bam for your buck.
Mhm. Yeah, especially those older Four Locos before they took the caffeine out of them.
Man. Well, hell, before the four locos when those were fucking deadly when they first came out, man. It's like fuck. They had those, and they had this thing called what were they before they had four loco? They had something else, but they were coming in like 10% too. It's just like, but they
Right.
had the caffeine in it. You're just like, you know.
Yeah.
But, so Ritual Caster, you said that you came in at the tail end. How'd you get in there in the band? Is that from Dom buying or that gear from you,
Well,
or you buying that
we
gear?
we were talking about like since members were changing around and everything, I think Dusty was leaving the drum spot because he was about to have a kid at that time.
Hmm.
I think his youngest now, but uh everybody started swapping around places, and about well, it was February 29th was that last show in 2020, and then by November or December of that year, he hit me up. I was on a hiking trip actually. I wasn't even anywhere able to come meet up with him, jam or whatever at the time, but uh yeah, he just hit me up out of the blue, said, "Hey, you want to play bass for us?" I'm like, "Yes." Okay, let's get it going. So, yeah.
Who are some of your influences?
Uh honestly, they're all over the place.
Okay.
With guitar stuff, I mean, like Matt Pike is a riff legend. Same
Oh,
with
fuck yeah.
Tony Iommi. Uh, and for bass stuff, honestly, as the least amount of typo that I listen to is like a few songs, but I'd say Peter Steele's bass playing kind of influences me a little bit.
Okay.
And I used to be a really big Les Claypool fan.
Not so much anymore?
Not so much anymore.
Why is
I
that?
I I kind of got out of the whole like slap bass and technical stuff as I
Okay.
started playing with Ritual Caster and thinking more about the broad brush stroke that is a song and the
Hmm.
emotions that it conveys. Not so much how many notes can I play in this little spot.
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, for another one for guitar is Brent Hines of Mastodon. That
Oh,
dude
nice.
is fucking insane.
I uh
That
I slept on that band.
really.
Fuck, for many, many years. And now I kick myself in the ass because all my friends are into them, and I'm like, I can see why, and I feel like a dumbass. And now I love that band.
Yeah. I was really big into him back when I was like 10th, 11th grade of high school, 2016, 2017, around that. I actually went to, oh, yeah, that was my first actual concert that I bought tickets for was Mastodon, Russian Circles, and Eagles of Death Metal at the Ryman.
Ooh, that was your first show that you bought tickets to,
Mm-hmm.
and it was at the fucking Ryman.
Yes, sir. And I got a lesson from Bill Kelleher of Mastodon. So that was my first and, well, not the last, but Brent was the other lesson a year later. My only guitar lessons I've ever taken.
Right, good ones to take it from.
Yeah, they definitely opened my mind a lot.
I think out of the last 5 podcasts that I've done, Mastodon has been brought up in almost all of them.
Really?
One of the bands that I had interviewed, well, one of my homeboys,
Mm-hmm.
um, he had a clothing company back in the day called Southern as Fuck,
Oh yeah.
and the bass player from Mastodon wore those shirts for 2 years straight on tour. And then when Mastodon went and got a Grammy, he was wearing that shirt at the Grammys as well.
Fuck yeah.
Um, then I was interviewing this guy in a band called Low Before the Breeze from Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and they uh, they practice in, I believe, the drummer for Mastodon's practice studio space. Um,
Is it
so
a West End Sound by chance?
yep, that's it.
Hell
Uh,
yeah. I think it's both Bill and Bronze. Like
okay,
they co-own it, but yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
yeah, because it was like, and then the drummer in that band, from the low before the
Mm-hmm.
means, he's from a band called Palaces from Atlanta. Have you heard of them?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's like it's like Macedon and all that kind of stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Really good band. I
Hell
bought
yeah.
a couple of their records a few times ago, but it was really cool. And then one of my, like I said, my buddy, he obviously knows those guys after work, getting them merchandise and stuff, and then
Yeah.
just talking to other people. Macedon has been brought up quite often, and but anywho, so those
Yeah.
are your influences, like. So the style of music that you guys play, how would you describe that to folks that don't know it?
Uh, for at least the stuff that we're working on right now, I would
Mhm.
describe it as hate music. It is like anger embodied.
Okay.
But for the older stuff, I describe it more as a southern sludge metal
Okay.
project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are kind of going away from that style then a little bit?
Uh, we're opening every possibility that we can and having as many just experimentations that we want. Like if we want to write a black metal inspired song, we'll do it. If we want to write a hardcore inspired song, we'll do it. We're just leaving the doors open, kind of just branching out to wherever it takes us.
No boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. So um, that's like you said. If you have an idea, it's like you said, whether it's a sludge song, cool. If it's a hardcore song, cool. If it's a black metal song, cool. If it's, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's cool. That changes it up. Um, I had something I was just about to say while we're talking about this. Oh, so for Ritual Caster, it's you, Dom, and then who's on drums?
It is Tyler Dean. We call him Beans. He plays in Really Bad People.
Okay, that's why I know that. That's why. Okay. Now do you and Dom collaborate to write the music?
Yes, we really do. I send him riffs all the time. He sends me riffs when he can because he's got Liam to raise, you know. But yeah, when we can get around to working on things together, we're constantly sending things back and forth.
Yeah, and I know he, like you said, he always has some ideas, man. He's always got
Oh yeah,
something. Um, yeah,
that dude, he's a genius when it comes to writing riffs. Honestly.
yeah, he's another one of those guys. Like when you watch him up on stage, because he's so quiet and to himself, like when he's not playing. But then when he gets up there, you guys, all both of you guys are like that. I feel, and then you guys get up on stage and it's just like,
It's a completely different
yes,
animal. Yeah.
yeah. When I was I've been out of a band. I was in guerrilla warfare for a while, and I've been out of guerrilla
Yeah.
warfare now for 2 years. But you know, when I got up there to sing, like I was like another fucking animal. Like I'm a stage whore, and then
Yeah.
when I get off stage, I'm just like, hey, what's up, man? But
Right.
just even when I played bass, because I used to play bass in a band called Taken Under for 17 years, and
Hell yeah.
when I was on stage, it was a whole nother animal. And then when I get off stage, I'm just like, all right, cool, But it's just like it's something about the feeling that being up on stage, man. It's just like,
Exactly.
God.
It's like you're able to just pour out every emotion you want to into the music and just be this idea of yourself. But when you get off stage, it's like you're just chilled out and everything's great.
Back to reality.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I love it, man. I don't care if there's one person in the crowd or fucking 1,000 people in the crowd. You're gonna get the same reaction whether for that one person, because it's like,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but so currently, with you guys writing new stuff, what's the outlook of new stuff coming out?
So for right now, I remember watching the episode or listening to the episode that Dom did. And he
Okay.
mentioned album number 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is called Enter Hollow Terra.
Mm-hmm.
That is currently like it's been 2 or 3 years of just what songs can we put on this? Hey, here's a new idea. Let's try that out. When can we get together to do it? Oh, trying to like schedule everything together with all of us having our own lives and stuff.
Oh
But
yeah.
for right now, we're mainly focusing on a split that we haven't announced yet.
Okay.
Uh, but sometime before the end of the year, uh, we are going to be doing a split with a band out of Virginia called Druidstone.
Druids.
They, yeah, Druidstone.
Okay.
They are. I don't know how to describe them honestly. They're really great.
Okay.
And I worked on a split with Wicked Trip with that same band, and that was I think it was called Split to Death or something, but I played drums on that. And they were lovely people to work with, honestly. Demeter, she is honestly a really, really great human being.
How did you find that band?
Through Wicked Trip.
Okay.
I never really browsed like the super underground Bandcamp stuff until I met them, and then I branched out a lot.
Okay.
So
You well, that's cool to hear. Some new Ritual Caster hopefully by the end of the year. That'd be that's
yes,
a
sir.
A Christmas
Currently,
present.
yeah, currently there's 3 songs that we're working on, and then we got the green light from Mr. Gabriel Rivera himself of Mephistopheles to do our own version of one of their songs.
Oh wow.
So he said, we'd love for y'all to do a cover, and we'd be honored to do for letting y'all do any song out of our catalog as a cover in our style, of course, because you know copying stuff ain't really my kind of strong suit.
Well, I always say, man, when if you're gonna do a cover, if you're gonna do it like the band, you better do it perfect. In it, but I like when bands take another band's song and make it
Hmm.
their own.
Yeah.
You still have the flavor and you know what's going on, but add your own changes, your own add some different
Hmm.
elements to it.
The first one that really stuck out to me was the band Thou, like Thou.
Oh yeah,
Their
they're great.
cover of Fourth of July from Soundgarden. That one really stuck out to me because it's blending like the clean vocal style of Soundgarden with this just raw screaming vocals and super distorted guitars, and
Hmm.
just taking what Soundgarden did and just throwing it in this heavy pit of you know.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of bands out there like that because or when you take a band that's not like say you take like say Cannibal Corpse, you got their stuff,
Mhm.
right? But then you get a band that's nothing like Cannibal Corpse and then turns it so into like nothing like it. And you're like, what the fuck is this song and why does it sound
Yeah,
familiar? And then
like
you're like, holy shit, that's Cannibal Corpse.
right. If you're going to do a cover, do it justice. And it's like if you're trying to do something that somebody else wrote, but make it your own style,
Hmm.
make it like give the original artist the respect of what they're doing. Like I've heard so many covers of like Rolling Stones songs and uh, what's it called, Fleetwood Mac and stuff like that, that they just go from this legendary song to something that's more ambient and like out there and just it's not really giving it the true soul of the song anymore.
Hmm. Now let me ask you this now. If somebody covered Black Sabbath, what now do we change Black Sabbath or do we just leave it alone?
That's a little tough question.
I mean, you're gonna take Black Sabbath. You can't fuck with Black Sabbath.
No.
You might just all right. We're gonna have to do it because, like, for instance, obviously we all know Pantera covered Planet Caravan years back,
Hmm.
and they kind of left it alone. But it still had that Pantera feel, but it still had that Black Sabbath to it.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I know exactly what you mean though. Um, so you said Soundgarden and stuff.
Hmm.
Do you like Soundgarden?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, at least the bigger hits. I hadn't really delved deep into the deep cuts yet, but
Well, I will say this. I mean, I myself like Soundgarden, and I actually like a lot of different shit. But I've mentioned this before. Back in um, before you were even thought about,
Project.
it was in like '92.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it was on the Bad Motorfinger tour. I got to meet them, and
Fuck
it
yeah.
was really cool to meet Chris Cornell. Really sweet guy. He's another one of those guys who's like on stage, and then he's like, "Hey, chills," and
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, I was probably maybe 15, maybe 16. I'm still wet behind the ears. And I
Hell
was
yeah.
living in California at the time. And I was like, you have a line in your song and it says, look in California and feel in Minnesota. And like, now that I'm older, I totally get what it meant. But I was like,
Right.
what's it mean? And he's like, well, it's like looking good and feeling bad. And I was like, oh, cool. But me as I wasn't understanding it. And then now I'm like, oh, on the outside you're looking good, but deep down inside you're depressed and
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
you're a disguise. Okay, cool. Now I get it. Really good,
Definitely.
really sweet guy, man. Really, I'm. back then, obviously didn't have cameras and shit. I mean, you
Right.
did, but not like we do now. And I wish I
Oh
would have
yeah.
got a photo with them. But it was Soundgarden and Monster Magnet. That's who it was.
Hell yes.
And then like a couple months later, I got to see White Zombie right when La Sexo Sisto came out,
Yes.
and some little band, some other little band called Danzig.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I guess they got big or something. No,
Oh yeah.
it was a Danzig 3 How the Gods Killed tour.
Fuck yeah.
And I was front row and I'm like fucking like getting smushed, but then Glenn's right in front of me. And me and my buddy are like, fuck yeah. I reach up and try to take the belt buckle. The big, what belt buckle I'm talking about. And he looks at me, fucking shakes me off, and I'm like, oh shit. So I had passes to get backstage. So we're backstage waiting for Glenn to come out.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, like they bring out this cooler, like Chuck Biscuit brings in this cooler of Heinekens and shit. So I go over to grab one and I get it out, and there's this arm on my shoulder, and I turn around and it's Glenn.
Oh,
he's like, how old are you, son? And I was like, 16. He's like, give me that. I was like, oh, he wasn't even cool enough to let me have a beer. Like, you asshole, but you're Glenn Danzig, and I'm okay with
it. Right. Hey, Glenn Danzig is like the dad of metal.
You mean the grandfather of metal?
Yeah.
No. I love seeing the Glenn Danzig memes. They're so great.
Yeah. They're great.
I want to see, I'm sure you've seen it too, the Glenn Danzig Henry Rollins book.
Oh yeah.
I've never gotten it, but I think I want to buy it because somebody took the time to illustrate all these little things like a Glenn and Henry cooking dinner together, and stupid random shit like that.
Right.
So obviously you're into some of those bands too, obviously, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, my music taste is all over the place. I mean, I play in these, more underground genres like doom and drone and stuff like that, but I'll listen to Yes, Jaco Pastorius, like
nice.
Just, I mean, even Miles Davis and John Coltrane. Like,
beautiful. Yeah,
I'm all over the place in my music taste because I'll go from listening to like this big, heavy Sunn song that's just a big wall of amps to A Night in Tunisia by what's his name, Gilly Gillespie.
Oh, nice. So yeah, you are all over the place. I have not seen it, but did you see the Jaco documentary that Robert put out?
I have not.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool that he put this documentary out about Jaco, and I guess also they found his what was it? His damn it. What he it was a bass he was playing all the time.
Oh, the Fender J bass that he ripped the frets out of.
Yeah, well, Robert found it and got his hands on it and was able to put it back, and Robert has it now, and it's a beautiful look, because he's a huge nerd on that shit too. Robert. Whether you love or hate Metallica, they're a talented fucking band at what they do. I always tell people, you can hate on fucking Lars all you want and all the shit talking about him, but every band that you listen to currently was influenced by him, or somebody that was influenced by him that influenced this guy, drummers. But I'm a diehard Metallica fan. I like everything they do, but
I like every album they've put out, even Saint Anger. Like
hold on. That album is fucking amazing.
It is.
Because it's the rawness, I feel, that album. It feels like it's just a bunch of homeboys got together and we're jamming, and they're like, all right, we're going to go record our first record,
It was like back to the garage rock days of stuff where it's just raw.
Fuck yeah, man.
Who cares about guitar solos? Just play the riffs and put your emotion into it. Like, it's great.
The cool part about that album, actually, I bought it when it came out, the night it came out, because back in the day, you'd be like midnight. You can go to the record stores at midnight, and then they would start selling the albums at midnight. CD Warehouse in Clarksville, then it became Oddball Music. They used to do that as well, and I bought Saint Anger there, and it came with a DVD.
Oh, the Some Kind of Monster documentary?
No. It's the Saint Anger DVD, and it's the whole album in its entirety of them playing it at their studio in
Oh,
the
good.
warehouse.
Hell yeah.
And now when I saw that, I'm like, now you listen to that and then listen to the Saint Anger album itself after that they recorded, you can see why that album sounds the way it does, because that's what they sounded like when they were practicing in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool, man, to see that. But I don't care. Like I said, I like Saint Anger.
Yeah, I love it.
Now
Some
you're
of my friends give me shit for it, but I love Saint Anger. It's a great album.
yeah. Have you ever seen Metallica?
I have actually one time in 2019 on their Hardwired World Tour
I was there. I was there. It was
at
good.
Bridgestone in
Yep.
Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was with all they had all those little cubes everywhere up in the sky.
Oh
And
yeah.
space. Yeah. I think one
Yeah.
said slut and the other said a bunch of crazy shit. It was a good show, man. They
It was.
I don't care what anyone says. They reproduce live so well.
They do.
I mean, I think they're, besides Iron Maiden, at a band at that level, there's not many bands at that level that can reproduce solid like that. I don't believe, I
I
mean,
agree.
I get it. They got a full production crew behind them, and that's what makes them sound good, but they got to still play that shit,
Yeah. The only thing that I didn't really like about that concert is when Rob and Kirk did their little jam and started playing Dyer's Eve. I was like, continue playing the song. Stop fucking around.
That's a great jam. Dear mother, dear father.
Oh yeah.
So so my first introduction to Metallica. So before I listened to metal, I was a hip hop kid in the 80s, and then I moved to Germany, and my mom's friends came over with their son, and he was a couple years older than me, and he brought over 2 records because I guess he thought I liked heavy metal or whatever at the time.
Right.
He brought over And Justice for All because it had just came out, like I think the month before, and Number of the Beast.
Hell yeah.
And he put them on. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, I didn't like it, but I listened. And then he's like, well, I guess I'll take these with me. I was like, leave them. And then he left them, and I was fucking turned out. That hooked me to metal. I was buying everything and anything I could get my hands on that was heavy metal, man. I was buying.
Hell yes.
And then, of course, I found Master of Puppets, which became my favorite Metallica record. But Dyer's Eve is one of my favorite songs off Justice because there was a hot girl at school and she was a metal chick. Metal chicks are fucking hot, and she had the fucking big fucking black teased up hair and she had the jean jacket. She was a Metallica chick, Hispanic girl, but her fucking favorite song was Dyer's Eve. And one time we're on the bus coming from school and I somehow I got to sit next to her and she's like, hey, you want to listen to Metallica with me? And she gave me one of her earbuds to put in. And she's like, this is my favorite Metallica song. She started fucking just singing it with it. I'm like, oh, yeah, And so Dyer's Eve, like that's one of my, but that's one of my favorite songs off that album. It's pretty crazy, though. Go ahead.
Hell, same thing with, like, my girlfriend going on 2 years now. I met her the first day at her job, and we got to know each other over a few months before we started like going out and all that. But she could tell like something was different about me because I would come in with the same guys every time after band practice. And she was like, are you in a band? And I'm like, yeah. I went and gave her some free merch and stuff.
Yeah.
So, next thing you know, almost 2 years now, been
Hell
together.
yeah.
So she's a keeper.
I think I saw her at the show.
Yeah, that was her.
Yeah. What was that? Ritual Caster, Fuzz Ripper, Neo Vatra, and Autumn Light Buried.
No, it was shit.
Oh, it was that band from Nashville.
Dead Runes.
Dude, they're fucking rocking.
They are.
Dude, they're so good.
I that night I still remember it because I had that long ass mop of hair.
You don't have it no more?
No, I got it cut off a month ago.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, I should have like tied it up or something because that was 3.5 years of me growing out my hair with no haircuts or anything.
Yeah,
and
I know that. I know what you mean.
That was my first show doing like vocals as well, and I was just sucking the hair in my throat and like it was making me gag and shit. So.
It looked fucking gnarly though, bro. It's like that was like part of the look, I went 5 years with having my hair long, and I
Mhm.
cut it about 3 years ago. I kick myself in the ass now, but I'm like, you know what? We need to we reinvent ourselves every once in a while, and
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, where I work now, I would hate to have my long hair because I'm doing oil changes from 8 to 6 most
oh
days.
yeah.
So getting all that shit in my hair, I wouldn't care for it.
Well, and then if you're there next during the summertime, it's going to be even more gnarly, you know. So,
Dude, for sure. For
uh,
sure.
um, we talked. So, what other bands are like for you? Said your dad, Pantera,
Mhm.
Black Sabbath. What was like your first? Like, what did you first buy yourself, like as a CD?
Surprisingly enough, um, I'm actually gonna have to look up the album name, but it was a Muse album.
Oh, okay.
Uh, surprisingly enough, because of
Hey,
Guitar Hero 3. Um,
that band fucking rocks, dude. Um,
yes. It
I
was,
watched.
Black Holes and Revelations,
Okay.
that album.
See that band, I got into them. Like there's a lot of bands I didn't like. I was kind of like, oh fuck that shit. It's not heavy. I'm not listening to it. Or it's not a hardcore band. Fuck it. I'm not listening to it. And then I was like, man, fuck it. Good music is good fucking music, you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I saw a live performance that they had done, and it's like the light show and the fucking way the song went. It's the opening track off. I can't remember what album it is now. Fuck. But anyway, it just
Mhm.
played so well, and I was like, it sucked me in, and I was like, man, I like this band. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
dude, they're good. They're talented. Like,
Yeah, that album was the one that had Knights of Sidonia on it, and I remember it from that Guitar Hero list of songs, and that was, like, one of my favorite songs to play on the game, so I wanted the actual album. Dude, between that album, Iron Maiden, Somewhere Back in Time, or it was, like, the greatest hits album with,
okay.
like, the futuristic Eddie popping out of the pyramid and all that,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
Guns N' Roses' biggest hits or
Okay.
greatest hits, and Sabbath's Paranoid. I wore out those 4 CDs in, like, a year playing them so much. They were scratched, just beat to shit. I loved them. They were great.
What's your favorite Maiden song?
Favorite Maiden song? Phantom of the Opera.
Ooh, nice, nice, nice. I like Flight of Icarus. That's
Yes.
a good one. Um, they're one of those bands too that still got it. I don't care what they
Mhm.
put out. Everything they put out to me, it still sounds like Iron Maiden.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and have you ever seen Iron Maiden live?
I have not, sadly.
I seen them. I've only seen them once. Surprisingly, of all the years I've been around, but I got to see it was Iron Maiden and Megadeth opened up for them.
Hell yeah.
And obviously we all know Dusty and his, Megadeth,
Oh, yeah.
and Metallica and Judas Priest and everything, But
Right.
watching Bruce Dickinson, man, 60 something years old, running and jumping over the fucking drum riser, like,
Hell
and
yeah.
for 2 hours, and he's like not winded, and he's still fucking just going ham, singing those fucking high notes and are you with me,
Mhm.
Nashville? It's like, fuck yeah,
Right?
fuck,
It
dude.
kinda kinda reminds you of, like, peak David Lee Roth.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah. I saw David Lee Roth in '89, and
oh,
it
hell
was
yeah.
it was solo David, but
Mm.
he did the jump for jump, and I was like, holy fuck, that dude's got high as shit in the air. He
Hell yeah.
it was for his a little isn't enough tour, and it might have been 90, but he had these little devils in the crowd, and they were pissing out Jack Daniels. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Hell yeah.
But no, yeah, Maiden is one of those bands I fucking like. If they come back to Nashville again, I have to go see them again.
Same here, man. Honestly, if my schedule allows me to, I need to go see a lot more shows.
Well, my dumb ass, and I'm saying this for the first time. I mean, I've told my friends, but publicly here on this podcast, I just spent $1,000 on Metallica tickets.
Fuck yes.
Me and my buddy Eric Daly, who's a bass player as well. He plays
Mhm.
bass. He plays bass in Guerrilla Warfare now, and he had played
Sweet.
bass in Modern Primate for a little while. And he's just a really cool dude. He's at all the shows and stuff. Anywho,
Yeah.
I bought we got we got the 2-day tickets, so we got 4 tickets for 2 for each of us.
Mhm.
It cost me $1,000, but it's all right. I mean, he paid me for his, but we
Right.
got we got we got the May 1st date and the May 3rd date. We got the general admission, so we're on the floor.
Mhm.
I get to see Pantera,
Fuck yeah.
or I like to say the Pantera celebration band, because
Right.
it's a celebration,
It is.
and I get to see Suicidal Tendencies again,
Dude,
which
they need to get Rob up on stage for that.
I think they probably will, considering, I mean, his son's right. His son's going to be there, might as well
Right.
have. I did see when Metallica and Suicidal played LA for this
Mhm.
current 72 hours tour. Robert got up and did, it wasn't You Can't Bring Me Down. I think it was War Inside My Head. Maybe I might be
Right.
mistaken, but, and then, I got night 2. It's going to be Limp Bizkit and Ice Nine Kills, which,
Hell yeah.
I'd rather. I don't know much about Ice Nine Kills. I know the band, but
Yeah.
I want to see Limp Bizkit.
I hadn't listened to much Ice Nine Kills, but I know one of Rings of Saturn's previous guitarist plays in that band now, Miles Dimitri Baker.
Mhm.
He's a fucking virtuoso when it comes to guitar.
I know for a little while, for this current Metallica leg of this tour, because Ice Nine Kills has been on, I think, the whole tour since they started.
Yeah.
And Metallica will do like 2 days off for 2 weeks, 2 days off for 2 weeks because they've
Mhm.
earned that right.
Right.
But Pantera did their tour. They did a tour that coincided with getting back on with that, and Ice Nine Kills the same thing. But Doc Coyles from God Forbid was filling in on guitar for
Yeah.
Ice Nine Kills, and I love some Doc Coyle stuff. He's a good,
Hell yeah.
he's a riff master. But I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, the Suicidal Robert thing. So I saw Suicidal back in July in Denver,
Hell
and
yeah.
they were opening. They were part of the No Effects going away tour,
Yeah.
and Suicidal, man. I was like, holy fuck! Not only do I got Mike fucking Muir, the fucking OG of this shit, I got fucking Robert's kid up there. I got Ty up there, and then on top of that, I got fucking Jay Weinberg on fucking drums. It's like fuck,
Damn straight.
you
It
know,
isn't what's his name?
from Dillinger.
Yeah, Dillinger playing
Mhm.
guitar for them. Yeah.
He's a fucking madman. I can't remember his name. He's a madman, dude. He
Is
does
it?
just like he does every show. He gets up on top of the fucking cab and
Hell yeah.
fucking jumps off. Like I'm
If
waiting.
I'm remembering correctly, it's Ben Weinman,
I think you
I
might be
think.
correct. I think you might be
Yeah.
correct. I mean, but Mike Muir, no matter what band he has, what lineup of that band, it's always some fucking OGs in the game.
Mhm.
He had what's that guy's name? The black dude, bass player.
Thundercat.
Yep, he had Thundercat. I'm like,
Yeah.
who gets fucking Thundercat in their band?
Dude, I love Thundercat.
Oh
That's
yeah, dude,
another band
he's a
I
beast,
want to
dude.
buy the 4 LP like box set of his album Drunk. Like that is one of my favorite albums.
I have not listened to a lot of him, but what I have heard is phenomenal. He's a talented fucking dude, man.
Very much so.
Um, so you said so those were your first 4 CD. That's a pretty
Mhm.
I mean, besides the Muse, everything else is pretty
Right.
fucking rocking and hard. I mean, the Muse is pretty rocking and hard too, and
Oh yeah.
but so Guns N' Roses greatest hits, Iron Maiden greatest hits. I mean, if you're gonna go with greatest hits for those bands, those are the ones. I mean, other than I mean, I'm a snob with Guns N' Roses. Not really. I'm not gonna say snob. I'm not a fan of the Use Your Illusions.
Yeah.
I feel like if you took all the good songs off, I mean, they're great records, but if you took the great songs off both of those 2 albums and put them together, you would have another solid record, a full
Oh
solid
yeah.
record.
Yeah.
But Appetite is flawless. It's
Oh yeah.
timeless. It's timeless. It's great. Now, have you heard any of these newer Guns N' Roses songs that have come out the last year?
I've honestly not. Since I like went down the sludge and doom rabbit hole, I kind of phased
Got
them
away.
out. Yeah.
Well, don't worry about it. You're not losing out on anything. So before we go into the sludge era, because I want to learn about that. What are some of your other who are some of your other favorite bands in the other worlds? Like, whether it's punk or hardcore or metal or hip hop.
Honestly, for like hip hop and rap, Kendrick Lamar is like one of my
Okay.
favorites.
Great.
With more, I don't know if you'd call them classic rock now, probably. Heart, Fleetwood
Oh,
Mac,
fuck yeah.
like the big '70s bands. There's just something about them that I love, and like the late '60s going into Woodstock stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like mm, perfect.
It was a different time.
Hmm.
It's crazy because there was stuff in the 60s that was heavier and shit. And
Definitely.
it's like people talk about that era and like everyone says punk started in the 70s, but I think actually punk started in the early 60s with MC5.
Oh
Um
yeah.
they were punk as fuck. But it is what it is. So you said Kendra, that's a good choice, man. Are you a Tyler the Creator fan by chance?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Like I'll listen to his stuff every once in a while, but mostly for me when I'm listening to music, it's mainly the stuff I play. I'm not really like trying to, you know, take stuff from other bands, but more just appreciate what they're doing.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
So sludge. What kind of bands would you consider sludge?
um, well, all the NOLA guys like I
Oh, for
Hate
sure.
God and Down, COC, like all that stuff. And then you get into like Acid Bath
Oh yeah.
with When the Kite String Pops. That album, perfect.
And they're
Coming back, yeah,
yep, saw that.
yeah. But mainly, like I would call them specifically sludge. Like Nola, that whole record, and like uh shit. I mean, I Hate Gods, Take Is Needed for Pain, and all those records are the start of sludge, I think, for me.
Hmm.
And
Crowbar.
then yeah, Crowbar, that's another band I forgot about,
Yeah.
but it, I listen to that shit all the time. I don't
You
know why I
know,
forgot about it.
Crowbar played the Warehouse.
Really?
Yeah, Crowbar played the Warehouse with fuck, Fear Factory.
Fucking hell.
And this was
That's
like a
stacked.
okay. I might got the two shows wrong because Fear Factory, Crowbar, and Death Angel all played the Warehouse within like a couple months from each other.
Right.
But yeah, Kirk stood on that stage at the Warehouse in Clarksville,
Fuck yeah.
Tennessee. and
Yeah,
Clutch played Clarksville too.
that was one of the last shows I seen. I seen Sun at the Bijou Theater in Knoxville, but a few
That
months
seat is
before that,
beautiful.
yeah, a few months before that, I seen Clutch, Dinosaur Jr., and Red Fang at the Ryman.
At the Ryman. Fuck you, man. That would I got to see Dinosaur Jr. last month. They opened
They're
up. They
good.
opened up for. They opened up for Weezer, and
Mm.
this was at Bridgestone, and you know how big Bridgestone is.
Oh yeah.
Dinosaur Jr. was so fucking loud in fucking Bridgestone. It was gnarly. It was cool because
Hell yeah.
Jay Masses is a fucking beast. But go ahead.
He is. Dude, his choice of gear is honestly what brings me to Dinosaur Jr. so much because like you said, I'm a gear nerd.
Mhm.
And seeing 3 full stacks of like a highlight and 2 Marshalls, it's just like, yes.
Dude, I can't believe that out of the 30 fucking years that I've known of this band and listened to this band, I've only seen them one time, and that was opening up for somebody else.
Shit.
But you have got to so fuck, man. You've seen two killer fucking shows, maybe more, but two I know of right now at the fucking Ryman.
Hmm.
I've been to
And
two shows at the Ryman.
that
I'm
that
not two.
first Mastodon show was at the Ryman.
Yep.
Dude, I've got a story from that
Go
was
ahead.
hilarious. Like I was standing right where the support poles for the
Hmm.
balcony is at. So I was in front of a pole, not blocking anybody's view because them poles are huge, honestly. Uh, I think it was right before they played March of the Fire Ants. I seen this guy a few rows up from me in the pews there light up a cigarette inside, and a security guard came down and was like, "No, you can't do that." he took a big old puff of the cigarette, blew the smoke in his face, and then just scaled this tall security guard, brought him down to the floor, and just tore him to shreds. Dude, this security guard crawled out into the aisle. His like nice white dress shirt and pants just ripped to fucking hell. And he's just like, oh, holy shit, and just runs straight up the middle aisle. I was trying not to laugh because it was my first concert and I was like really invested in the music.
How old were you?
I was 16 at the
Okay.
time,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
that's not a bad first show though to go to, Like I said, at the Ryman, like
Hmm.
my first experience of the Ryman was seeing a comedian there in like I think like 2000 or something, maybe 2002. And then the first band I actually saw at the Ryman, a buddy of mine was like, "Hey man, I got these tickets to the show." I'm like, "Cool, who is it?" He's like, "Oasis." And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go," because I'm like, "Fuck, these brothers are probably gonna fight."
Right?
And I fucking went and saw. I got to see Oasis at the fucking Ryman, fucking epic as shit. And then the next show I saw at the Ryman was years later. I got to see the Deftones at the Ryman.
Fuck yes.
So, you've been to the Ryman, that's like a place that you have to see certain bands, and seeing the
Hmm.
Deftones at the Ryman was phenomenal, man. I wish I could I wish I can go to more shows of the Ryman, but
Right.
it's a great venue, man. Great venue. I
Oh
know
yeah.
Wu-Tang played there, okay?
Fuck.
And fucking Method Man was sitting there just blazing up on fucking stage, man.
Shit.
But to see any kind of hip hop show would be probably cool to see there, just because it would sound so good with.
Oh
But
yeah.
I
Dude, the
think,
acoustics in there are amazing.
yeah, I think Wasp is coming in November. I would like to
Oh,
go
check
check
that
that
out.
out. Yeah, I think, and I think they came a couple years ago. It's the same tour, but I think I think the band The Almighty is opening up, and they're
Hmm.
fucking epic as shit. No, scratch it, not The Almighty, Armored Saint, and
Oh
Armored
hell yeah.
Saint is epic, and their singer John Bush sang on 2 or 3 Anthrax records in the mid '90s,
Fuck yeah.
which to me are some of my favorite Anthrax records. But
I've
that's
never really been too much into Anthrax. I was more into Slayer.
cool. Oh, I like
Yeah.
them both. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I like them both,
Yeah,
but Slayer was mainly the one
yeah.
that I listened to.
Um, Anthrax, the house where Dave Mustaine got kicked out of Metallica at.
Hell yeah.
So sludge, all right. So you talked about
Hmm.
some of those sludge bands. I mean, there's some good. I know those guys. Those New Orleans got a good scene for that.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy because like Phil's a huge fucking sludge dude, like a fan. He got that. He
Hmm.
got that horror. Is it Horror House Records or Horrorcore Records? I think he has. It's like nothing but
Yeah.
New Orleans sludge metal. Like
Heck
I
yeah.
got I got to see I Hate God open up for Pantera and White Zombie one time, and they threw it down.
Damn straight.
Who uh, my Phil has a band with other members of I Hate God.
Hmm.
It's not the Illegals. It's Phil, because Phil has a couple side projects too. I found out that
Was
Phil
it
has a
a
fucking punk rock band too.
really?
Yeah, it's on that label. I just popped it up, but it sounds like straight up New York style old school punk rock,
Hell yeah.
like this. Yeah, he's a but so sludge. There's sludge
Hmm.
metal, and then you're in the black metal too, huh?
A little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, the classic stuff, like, well, I don't agree with some of the people who made the music, but the music is good. Like Mayhem, Burzum a little bit, not too much. Like that's a whole rabbit hole if you want to go down that whole story.
So
Uh,
I know the name of that band,
mhm.
but I really don't know them. You know what I'm saying? Like their music.
Yeah, it was Varg from one of those bands. He because it was all like that Norwegian black metal stuff or Swedish, but
Which was the movie, the movie that they did about
Lords
that?
of Chaos.
Is that band?
That was from Mayhem.
Okay, Mayhem. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that whole genre's kind of like walking on a lake that's frozen and you don't know where's the thick ice and where's the thin ice,
Uh-huh.
because there's a lot of let's just say opinions that are not the greatest for people, that some bands support, some don't. There's honestly, I'm just going to say it, there's a neo-Nazi presence in black metal, and
Okay.
I don't like that. But those bands kind of get shunned out.
Gotcha.
The more popular black metal stuff, like again Mayhem, they've changed a lot over the years, because like, I mean, shit, back in the day it was this raw just of music, and one of their guys like stabbed another member,
Yeah.
burned a church down, all that shit. And there's a bunch of stories with black metal that I just you know.
Yeah, I think we've all heard the black metal stories, whether some of
Oh
them
yeah.
are true or just fabricated a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure they've been fabricated a little bit over the years, but you always heard about the black metal. Like, oh, they're fucking real deal, man. They burning down churches, they kill each
Oh
other
yeah.
and all this shit. And then you watch that movie, and so of course everything in movies are a little fabricated. Yeah.
Dramatized, yeah.
But I mean, I get where they're coming from on some of that shit, it's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
insane. I knew a kid when I was in high school that was kind of like that. He wasn't really into black metal. Maybe he was. I don't fucking know. But
Right.
I never really knew what he looked like, what he listened to really. But he
Mm-hmm.
always wore like he was this Hispanic kid, and I was friends with him, but he always come to school. He had the big combat boots on, fucking
Bullet belt, hold on
yeah,
yours.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is like 91, okay? But then he came to school one day, and on the way to school, he saw this dead like cat or rabbit or something on the side of the road. And he cut it open and took a fucking stick and fucking put the heart of this fucking cat, rabbit, whatever, on a stick. And dude, it's just like the movies. You see the hallways of the high school just parting, and he's
Oh
walking down
my
the hallway with this
god.
fucking heart on a fucking stick. And I was like, dude, the fuck? He's like, I just wanted to show you the heart. And then he just threw it in the fucking hallway and walked off. I'm like, what the fuck? And then, like, I didn't realize, but at the time, he had like a rope necklace, like a black leather, like
Mm-hmm.
piece of leather. And he had taken a bone off this fucking animal and he had it on his necklace and he wore that for who knows how long.
Yeah.
But that's what kind of shit, that's what reminded me of that when I saw that movie. Because when they,
Right.
when they put, what did they put on their necklace? They took,
It was like pieces of the guy that got murdered skull.
yeah, I was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck, man? That shit was just like,
I can't remember the names. I think it was
yeah.
Euronymous or something or whatever. But he yeah, that whole scene, like, there's good bands and then there's bands that you just need to kind of stray away from.
Yeah. There's a band in Clarksville, or not really Clark. I guess they're based out of Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
They're a black, I guess they're a US black metal band, I guess you call them. It's members of that band. You ever heard? Did you hear of the band called Of Serpents back in the day?
I did not.
They're from they're from Pleasant View, but there's a
Mm-hmm.
band from they're from Nashville. They say,
Yeah.
and I always say the name wrong, but they're called Satan or Satan, Saidan. They're
I've
a
I've never heard of them, honestly.
they're
I'll have to
from
check them out.
well, the drummer lives in Hopkinsville and the
Mm-hmm.
guitar player lives in Pleasant View, and they're like the US black metal.
Hell yeah.
And they're going to Europe next week to go play a black metal festival.
Fuck yeah.
And they just play small shows, but they're really good, man. They're doing big things. They got their record keeps selling out always and always
Hell
keeps
yeah.
selling out. So they're doing their thing. I'll send you a link to them.
For sure.
I think you dig them, man. I've always wanted to. I would like to have always get them on. I'm gonna probably try to get one of them on the podcast too one day. Um, but so black metal, yeah, that is a weird. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like punk rock too. There was a lot of neo shit like that in punk
Oh
rock
yeah.
back in the day. But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's in all music,
Yeah.
But
Probably one of my favorite, like, I guess fuck, I don't know what you call them because they're like a jazz black metal fusion. The band Imperial Triumphant, they are fucking amazing. Like they take the kind of big band elements from jazz back in the day and throw like a trumpet solo in this big like trim picked black metal blast beat riff, and
Okay.
it's crazy.
Um. So black. I mean, so black metal to me.
Mhm.
Okay. So describe. How would you describe black metal? Like, what kind of parts? Of, like, say, like, what kind of drumming style would you say black metal is?
Um, it can go between some simple stuff and like, simple four to the floor just
Mm-hmm.
beats to blast beats, like just that that machine gun stuff that some people love and some people hate. And to me, like I personally like it when it's used properly. Because sometimes some of these bands just that's all they do all the time, and it's kind of annoying
Did
sometimes.
Did you mention Behemoth earlier?
I did not, but I thought about it right after I
Because
mentioned something about black metal.
I've seen them. I've seen Demu Burger or
Yeah,
however you say them.
that's another one.
I've seen them. I've seen both of those bands. I seen Demu because they're at a Ozfest and they were they're pretty fucking interesting. Is that Dark Tranquility band? Are they a black metal band?
I honestly do not know. I've heard the name. I haven't
Hmm.
listened to a bunch of their stuff, but
Their logo looks like be black metal.
right. I will say for the Tennessee scene though, there's a band out of Eastern Tennessee called Summoner Circle.
Oh yeah, I've seen their name around.
Yeah, they played the Metal Devastation Festival in Jackson here a while back. I seen them last year. They
Um,
blew me away, honestly.
would you try to? You guys should try to get them to come to old Clarksville. I know we don't
Oh
have many
yeah.
places to play. Um, so I noticed earlier I was looking at I try to get some things and most of the time
Mhm.
when I just did these podcasts I just riff and just vibe off and we
Right.
just go off whatever. But I looked on your page and you said there was something on your page about a talent scout for some metal thing. What is that?
Yes. I'm a talent scout for Metal Devastation PR.
Okay.
It's this radio station and PR company based out of Jackson, Tennessee.
Hmm.
And that festival I mentioned that I seen Summoner Circle at,
Okay.
they started a festival 3 years ago, and it's like the only metal festival that I've been able to find in West Tennessee.
Oh wow.
And they've brought Autumn Lies Buried there twice now.
Okay.
That was actually the first time I seen them was at their festival last year. But they uh they have a radio station that's like a web radio and
Okay.
all that, and it amazing station. Zach and Raven from Metal Devastation, they're some of the kindest hearted people you'll ever meet. Honestly, they're great.
That's cool, man. I thought about doing a radio station like that on the web,
Yeah.
back in I mean, I actually still could do it. I remember in the early internet days, people were doing like their own radio station. They would get like
Hmm.
Winamp, I think it was called, and then you would like you put all your stuff in there, and then you put your little spin, and you just let it play all day, and then people can listen to it if you get the
Yeah.
address or whatever. But well, that's pretty cool. That they started a fest and stuff, and then when's Ritual Caster going to play?
Um, well, I submitted for it last year before all the bands
Hmm.
were kind of in line, but we were actually on their radio station
Oh, okay.
earlier this year with our song "Conquest of the Ancients," which that last show that we played was the first time we tried to debut that live, and we're figuring out everything. But like we tried to get on that, and they had already had it booked up, but we're gonna try again for next year.
um, so it's crazy that you saw for the first time ALB and it wasn't even in Clarksville.
Hmm.
You know, they're they put on a good show, man. They got a lot of fucking energy, a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
fucking energy, man. Those dudes have been around for a little bit and they're doing their thing, man. I have a lot of respect for those guys, man. They're hard
definitely,
working, hard working.
definitely.
Wow.
Dude, from what I met them, or from when I met them at the festival and talked to Kane a little bit and
Hmm.
the other guys, dude, I could just instantly tell that's their passion,
Yeah,
and
100%.
it they're great. I can't say it much more than they're great.
Yeah, I had Perry on the podcast
Hmm.
probably maybe episode 10 or something, and you know, he's just such a sorry Perry, I don't mean to offend you, but he's just a good old country boy, and who loves playing his metal. I mean, yeah, I mean, because the name of the podcast, the name of the episode actually I think was In the Holler with Perry, and he had to explain to me what holler meant because I didn't know what holler meant. So
Shit,
so I learned what holler was, and but
definitely.
yeah, Perry's a pretty cool cat, man. He was actually Perry was actually the one of the drummers in guerrilla warfare at one point. Um,
Mm,
yeah, this was probably, I guess maybe, I think he got done. I guess 2018 maybe he stopped playing, and then he picked up a guitar and started jamming with ALB. But
yeah.
now
Oh, yeah.
he's a hard working man for that band. So
Yes, sir.
so let's I'm going to take it back just to
Hmm.
your EP you guys released, an endless existence.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That was supposed to be a full length, but
well,
like it didn't turn out full length.
I mean, it ranks in at like 34 minutes. I mean, that's kind of a
Yeah,
full length.
yeah.
Um, so now were those songs written with you, or were some of those songs already around from the Gravity days?
So the Way of the Bastard, that was the first time it has been recorded.
Okay.
Uh, Danger Hawk, Nessie, Intimidator, and yeah, those three were off of the Gravity Cosmonaut EP.
Okay.
And then As Above and So Below were completely new, just bookends to that album. Clan Killer was a song that me and Dom worked on. He brought the riff to the table, and we just went with it.
Is that name of the song have to do with what the song is about?
Yes,
Okay. Nope.
because
Yeah, all right.
we do not agree with
No,
some
I
some
got you there.
people.
Okay.
So
Hey, that shit's still happening in this fucking world.
it is, it
Um,
is.
my parents live in Huntsville, right outside of Huntsville, and when I
Hmm.
go down there, we got to go past right there where they're fucking from.
Hmm.
The clan is still there, brother. It's crazy. It's okay. We're not gonna get on that conversation anyway. The
Right.
conquest of the ancients. That's the last song on that EP. Is that a was that a is
That that was like a bonus track that we decided just throw on there. It was supposed
yeah.
to be for Inner Holotera, but we've changed up so much of what we want to do for album number two that we just threw it out there.
Got you, got
So,
you, got you. Yeah, I Nessie was always a cool jam. I like Danger Hawk,
hmm.
that's a cool. I mean, they're all cool jams, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
This they're you're just sitting. I mean, there's so many different change ups in these songs, and they're good, man. They're all
Yeah.
grooving. They all got this fucking vibe, and then all of a sudden it's just like, ugh,
Hmm.
yeah. It's like you want to punch babies. Like
Oh yeah.
I don't want people to punch babies though, but
Right.
um, but yeah, well, I'm looking forward to hearing some new Ritual Caster.
Definitely.
When y'all playing again?
Currently we have no shows booked for the rest of the year.
Well, I know
Um,
you said it. It's like 2 years off and on trying to work out this new stuff, what goes, whatever, and da da da
yeah.
da. It's kind of the same thing with Ritual Caster. It's like when you get a Ritual Caster show, it's like, oh shit, and then if you can get two in a year, it's like, oh fuck,
Oh
it's like,
yeah. Yeah, we try to get shows in where we can just to keep up like our live presence and playing live, but we really want to hit it hard with writing new stuff and quality stuff.
yeah.
So,
Did you play Muddy Roots?
yes, that was my first show with Rachel Caster and it about scared the shit out of me.
So tell me about that.
um so before Rachel Caster, I played in a band called Glenhaven out of
Okay.
Paris, Tennessee, and I that was like my first experience of being in a quote unquote band, and we'd never played a show, so my only experience with live stuff before and after Glenhaven was playing in marching band competitions. And then my first show as something not related to school was a festival that Weed Eater, Bongzilla, and a bunch of these other bands that I've just loved over the years are playing at. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, dude, that I never would have imagined that would have been my first show as a musician outside of school.
Well, hey, what? Look at you, man! Your first fucking show to play with fucking bands that you fucking were looking up to. Your
Hmm.
fucking first show that you got to see was fucking Mastodon at the fucking Ryman. I mean, come on, dude. You got it. You're doing it all right, man. You're doing all right. You're doing all
Yes,
right.
sir.
Now, did you get
And
to see those bands?
I
You
it's
did not.
kind of a funny story because after we played and got everything like put away in the U-Haul because we hauled all our own shit out there. Um, I was walking around and Mule Boy from Bongzilla was hanging out, and I went and talked to him for a little bit. Mind you, I'm 20 at this time,
Okay.
and I'm 3.5 hours away from home in Cookville. He offered me some wax. Like
Oh.
I was I I was beside myself because Mule Boy from Bongzilla is offering me wax, but I'm 3.5 hours away from home and I'm not spending the night here.
Oh.
I have kind of a rule with things like if
No, I
I,
get it. I get it.
you know, I'd rather be at home if I in
You
if I
partake.
partake,
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, but I sadly had to turn that down, and I said maybe another day.
Oh,
And then
now.
Hank Jr.'s grandson walked up right next to him, 4 in the Strange Man, and
Yep.
I was
Yep.
like,
Yep.
well, hot damn, I'm meeting everybody today.
Man.
So yeah, they're great guys, and I didn't get to catch Weed Eater that weekend, but I seen Heavy Temple, Black Tusk,
Oh, nice.
and I went back to my truck and took a nap and woke up as Bongzilla was starting their set, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna roll the windows down and listen to it from here. I ain't getting up. I'm tired.
That's still cool though, man.
So yeah, that was definitely a very good first show for me.
Yeah. Did you guys have a good turnout for your? Because you guys played first, right?
We were the first band to play the small stage that day, and the stage manager, I can't remember exactly what his name was. He was just like beside himself of how quickly that tent filled up because there was another band playing on the wood stage and they were a little bit lower in volume and everything, and then we bring our entire back line and just crank everything to the nines and wake people up from the night before.
Yep.
And it's just like, holy shit, you know?
Uh,
It was crazy.
How long of a set did they give you?
They gave us 45 minutes, and I think we ended up playing it short because we didn't have one or two songs.
I would have said I would have played the first two songs again because they wouldn't have remembered. You know, it's the
Oh
first
yeah.
time seeing you. I remember we had played a show one time, my band Taken Under at the warehouse,
Mhm.
and everyone's like, one more, play some more. So what we did was we played the song, we played the whole set again, but backwards.
Oh shit.
So we started again with the last song, and then we just kept going back down to the first song,
Hell
or
yeah.
something like that. It was pretty interesting.
I should have thought about that. We tried to like just riff on something and jam and all that, and
It's all
we
right.
still had like 25 minutes left by the time we had already played like Way of the Bastard, Danger Hawk, Nessie, Intimidator, and Clan Killer. So
What was the best crowd reaction song?
uh probably either Nessie or Dangerhawk, because my dad was at that show as well, and he swears that he witnessed people moshing out in this gravel drive that they have that's vendor row,
Uh-huh.
and he just seen dust and rocks flying. He don't know what it was from. Could have been us playing. Could have been somebody getting in a fight. Don't know, but it was perfect.
He didn't watch you guys?
Oh yeah, he stood. Actually, he was on stage for the second like half of the set because my bass amp was walking off of my cab.
Because it was
He,
fucking the vibration.
yeah, he was like holding it up there, and the stage manager's like, "Get off the stage!" And he's like, "I'm his dad. Don't want this amp to fall off and all that." And he's like, "Okay."
Was your dad at that show you guys played at the Rebel House?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, he was.
I okay that all right, yeah. I just thought I didn't know who he was, but now it makes sense. That's your dad. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's my dad, Rusty. He's honestly, he's the best man I ever met. He's
Is
great.
is that his real name?
He goes by Rusty, but his name's Russell.
Hey, your dad's
So
a cool guy in my book.
yeah,
Because I'm a Russell too, but I used to hate when I got called Rusty though. But
really.
yeah, I didn't like Rusty, but
Huh.
I don't like Russell either because I feel like when I hear Russell, I feel like my mom's yelling at me.
Right.
So I've always gone by Russ,
Yeah.
Unless some cute girl calls me Russell, then I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, I'm
Yeah.
Russell, whatever you want to call me. Now
Right.
does he spell it with two L's or one L?
Two L's.
All right, your dad's really cool then, because there's a few out there they forget an L, but that's
Right.
it's two S's and two L's, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool though, man. Your dad supports you though, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's been to every single show that I've played
Oh,
so
nice,
far,
nice,
both
nice.
with Ritual Caster and Wicked Trip.
Nice.
So
That's awesome. So we had mentioned at the beginning too that there was a other project that you were in with Dom called the Dread.
yes,
Now is that
Dread.
just a studio project? No, just release stuff online. No playing out.
Well, we played a show back in July at this place called Molotov Skate Shop up in Bowling Green. Uh, it was Wicked Trip, some guys from Chattanooga called Umbral Shadow, which
Mm-hmm.
Ray from that band, he amazing dude by the way.
Okay.
He also plays in a band called Toad Smoke out of Chattanooga.
All right. Toad Smoke.
Uh, then we were trying to get Fairy Ring on that same bill, and they had to hop off of it because they got that tour with Howling Giant.
Oh, yeah. I think they made the better choice.
But I understood why, and we were trying to find bands like we asked Ryan Clackner and Zach from Stumptail and Primeval Well and those guys to possibly get on, and they couldn't do it. And we just said, you know what? Let's just play Dread's first live show. And we thought, like, oh, we're going to play a full hour long set, do it the proper way, let people just have a sound bath. Because we just took every guitar cab that we brought and every bass cab we brought and just made a wall and just cranked everything. And this is not like a big venue. It's the back room of a skate shop, and it's just blaringly loud. But we didn't know there was a noise ordinance actually.
Oh shit.
So we only had 10 minutes to play.
Well,
Yeah.
I think from what I gather from Dread and Ritual Casters, it's a go loud or go home, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dude, if the pants legs ain't flapping, it ain't worth it.
It's all right though, because I mean, like I said, when I saw Crowbar at the warehouse, like fucking Kirk is so fucking loud, but
Mm-hmm.
I think they're one of the loudest bands I've ever seen at the warehouse. Maybe Fear Factory was a little louder, but
Yeah.
not by much. But it was, I like loud. Loud's good.
Oh yeah. That first Mastodon show and the first Sunn show I went to at the Caverns in Pelham, Tennessee, which is
What
like
the fuck, dude? Really?
yeah, it was in a cave.
I know. Like, all right,
And
yeah.
it was if I was any closer to the stage, I would have needed earplugs, but I was like halfway back in the cave. I didn't need earplugs because it was about the same level that we practice at, and that's still loud as hell.
That
But
cavern place, I want to
ooh,
check that place out so bad, dude.
if you get a chance, go. It's worth every single bit
I've
of
never seen
that.
anything there. I've never seen anything about the place until like Yellow Wolf a couple months ago posted that he did one of his shows there, and
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, this place is inside a fucking cave.
Mhm.
Like I've heard of the caverns, but I just thought like the stage was in the opening and then the outside was where everyone hung out. No, no, no. Everybody's inside this fucking cave.
Mhm.
Like, get
Dude, it started with, PBS, the television network, doing
okay.
a bluegrass underground sessions thing,
Oh
and
wow.
it just they decided to open it up to more bands coming through. I think King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard played 3 days out there.
Okay, that band right there, for being around for such a short amount of time, they got more records than any other fucking artist I've ever seen.
Definitely.
I think
Dude,
there's like I think like in the they've only been around for like what 10 years, maybe 11 years or
something
something.
like that.
But they got like 30 fucking albums.
Mhm. Dude, 5 in 2017 just alone. Like, it's
Oh my
crazy
god.
the output of that band.
I mean, I only heard about them and shout out to Tony at And Vinyl, but he had posted about, hey, we got this album, their album, and I was like, man, I've been seeing shit, but let me hear this shit. And I'm like, fuck, this shit is good.
Mhm.
It's yeah. That's like, man, shout out to Tony. Anywho, back to what you're saying.
Yeah, like, that place, it's crazy. Definitely go check it out if you can.
Oh yeah, if I could find something there. So, uh, what's one of the most memorable shows that you've seen?
Um, actually, I think it was that first Sun show at the Caverns because those fog machines going, by the
Oh
end of the
yeah.
set, you couldn't even see the band. Like, it was this just thick, you could cut it with a knife fog. I couldn't even see 2 or 3 rows of people in front of me. I just seen
Wow.
the lights, and it was like this, I guess, sort it's like primeval, just human experience of what am I thinking in this moment? Because there's no singing in Sun, and it's just 2 guitarists. It's this primal emotion just raw out there, and I was, like, contemplating life decisions in the middle of that show. It there was people, like, meditating, sitting on the floor, and it it was an at least an hour and 45 minutes, no stops, just full steam ahead of just
now, now, were you
Mm.
partaking while you were there?
No, you don't need to at those
Okay.
shows. If you want
Okay.
to, go right ahead, but the music is enough.
Hell yeah. You know, the one thing about that cavern place I know happens there a lot are like EDM shows.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I could like you said the fog and all that shit. And I'm sure
Mhm.
when that place is just like you get the fog, you get the fucking lights. I bet you that place is just fucking crazy.
Dude, somebody recorded the entire set of that Sun show and put it up on YouTube,
I'll
and
have to
it's
check that out.
just it's crazy. If you like drone's a very avant-garde, like, out there genre.
I've heard that, yeah, and I know a lot of people that are into Sun. A lot of fucking people are into Sun, you know,
Mhm.
that I know. But I've not really listened up to a lot of them. But
Mhm.
I'll definitely check out just a part of that show just so I can kind of get what you were talking about. You know, just see that that'd be kind of cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do need to find out something that's going to be there.
Mhm.
Um, but man, Troy, this has been awesome, dude. Just fucking sitting here chatting with you, man. Is there
Oh, yeah.
anything you want to talk about, mention before we go?
Um, let's see.
What's one unique thing about you?
Uh, shit,
Actually,
kinda making me
I
think
got,
here.
I got a few things we got some more things to talk about. Go ahead.
Alright. Um, I guess the unique thing is what other people tell me. I'm very selfless with music stuff and,
Hmm.
like, the people I play with. It's more I'm trying to do everything I can for the people I'm working with, and not so much about my own ego and how much I want to be in the limelight of things. It's I want everybody to share that same experience that I'm trying to go for.
What's your what you personally?
Mhm.
What is your goal with Ritual Caster?
With Ritual Caster, I mean, I ain't saying anything here yet, but like I don't expect it to be this Metallica level band because they're just the kings. They're always going to be there.
Hmm.
But I feel like one day it could possibly be in the same level as like Weed Eater and Bongzilla, and that big enough that shows sell out and things go well.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Um, are you a movie guy?
a little bit.
Um, what's one of your favorite movies?
uh, there's so many. Probably, and this is like one. I guess you could call it kind of a B movie, but Lucifer's Satanic Daughter that came out a few years ago. It
Okay.
it's directed by a guy named Chandler Thistle. Shout out to him. He got with Just Oburn of Electric Wizard, and they came up with this whole movie about Ricky Casso and the Acid King story and all that.
Okay.
And just they made their own movie. I think a lot of it was shot on an iPhone or something, but it it got Electric Wizard back in the studio to write a new song
Wow.
for the movie, and it's it's honestly a mind fuck of a movie. There's like it's an acid trip in a
Hell
movie.
yeah. Um, there's a show right now on Peacock called Hysteria.
Mhm.
It's like I think there's 8 episodes. It's about 45 minutes an episode, but it's about this band who there's like this satanic thing going on in town, or they use their band. They're a satanic band, I guess you'd
Mhm.
say, but they use the whole what's going on to promote their band as a satanic band, and they do covers like Maiden and stuff, but they do the whole they dress like fucking face paint and all this shit, and it's
Yeah.
like the town's like, oh my god, they're devil worshippers, and but at the same time, all the kids are like loving them and shit. Man, check it out; it's pretty
Yeah.
fucking
I'll
hilarious.
definitely check it out. Dude, I guarantee some of my neighbors probably think I'm a devil worshiper, but um I grew up Christian and all that, but I have my own beliefs in that.
Oh, for sure, we all have our own beliefs, you
Yeah.
know.
And I
So
respect everybody's beliefs. I ain't one of these which respectfully, I'm not one of these Christians that says you're going to go to hell for doing this or that or whatever. Let people be people.
I think Sonny from POD said it the best.
Mhm.
Um, the biggest hypocrites are Christians.
Oh yeah.
He,
I've experienced some myself. So,
because he said, at the end of the day, we're not supposed to judge each other, but everybody's judging. We're judging everybody, and he,
exactly.
and I mean, look at POD. They're like, they don't really, they're not really considered a Christian band these days. They still have their faith and stuff, but, um, that they were like they were playing a festival one year with Metal or with Marilyn Manson. Okay,
Mhm.
somewhere in the States or maybe somewhere in Europe anyway, wherever there was like a big Christian place. And they're like, oh shit, like people are like picketing, like that. We get to see Marilyn Manson getting picketed. No, they're picketing POD.
Oh shit.
And that's what he said. Like those are the biggest hypocrites right there, judging
Yeah,
us, and we're not doing anything different, but
right.
but any
I feel like everybody deserves just to be respected, and no matter like their religious beliefs or political beliefs. It's
Mhm.
like if we can all just get along, everything works out.
At the end of the day, man, we just all need to fucking be cool with each other, man. That's all
Oh
that
yeah,
I
dude,
mean,
we're all going through the same shit we call life.
yeah, yeah.
May
You
as well
know,
make it easier.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, well, uh, give me one album, or not just me. Give everybody out there that's going to listen, the whole 15 million people that listen to this podcast weekly. One album that you feel like somebody needs to hear.
Um, honestly, Satan's Sex Ceremonies by Mephistopheles. that album was introduced to me by the guys in Wicked Trip, and at first I didn't like it, but as I kind of gave it more and more chances, it's this just amazing album when it comes to the songs. It's a very provocative cover, like a lot of metal albums are, but it's it's heavy where it needs to be, and it hits all the right spots.
All right, all right, all right. Well, you guys heard it there. You guys check it out. Um, and well, I mean, oh yeah, the cover is okay. I'm down with that. That's a cool cover. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's not a lot of covers are really like that. Back in the day, we
No.
used to have some crazy covers. You know,
Oh yeah,
so
dude.
oh,
Those
but
guys, great. But yeah,
how
continue.
long
I'm sorry.
have they been around for a while?
I think they started in like 2013, but didn't release an album until 2016 with their album. It was called Horror.
Yep, I'm looking at it right
Um,
now.
yeah, that blew up, and then they came out with I'm Heroin and Satan's Sex Ceremonies, and now Violent Theater,
Yep,
which
check that
another
out.
amazing album. But yeah, that band has grown on me a lot, and the uh the album that I last worked on with Wicked Trip, Cabin Fever, was actually mixed and mastered by their current drummer Luca Frizza.
Oh wow.
So
So wait a second, are you in Wicked Trip too?
I was. I'm
Okay,
currently not playing with them right
okay,
now.
okay. All
They're
right.
great guys, Sam and Blake, which I respect them a lot,
Okay.
and they're amazing musicians. But I had some personal things I needed to handle.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
So yeah,
Well, Troy, like I said, man, it was fun talking with you, brother. I'm gonna
yes,
go.
sir.
We're gonna sign off here, but don't go nowhere. I have something to say when we get done. All right.
All righty, bub.
All right, bub. Later, man.
Peace.